I also wonder where it went. We better follow it to make sure it doesn't come back with friends. Looks pretty deep. Well, we better get down there. Huh, I guess that ant didn't make it too far. Where are we? This looks sort of familiar, but I'm not so sure. Maybe that sign will give us a clue. Okay, if my intuition is correct, then we're somewhere in the mines. Someplace that we haven't been before. Which is kinda interesting. So, let's explore around and see what we can find. Ah, hey, Minku! Come here, you! Alright then. This place feels even more familiar. If I had to guess, based on the sounds, it must be that place that we went through when we were backtracking back to the reservoir, all the way back in Chapter 3. So there must not be much here, so let's go back.
Uh-oh! Looks like poison! Wish I could blow it away.
Well, lucky for you, Musashi, we have the wind scroll, which we can use to slice through that poison cloud. There we go. Now it's all gone. This is going to come up again in the boss fight, so remember this. Huh. Seems like this part of the mine was abandoned, judging by the dust on the floorboards here, and all the unmined benchotite. Also, there's a chest over here. And we got a large tool, but with the power of our goggles, it's actually a pickaxe. And it's really rusty too, so it's probably no use to us. Also, my thing's going off, which means there's a bencho field somewhere around here. And it's right there. Alright, well, good luck with that. Whoa, hold on there. It's probably not a good idea to jump down there with all that pointy benchotite. We're gonna have to figure out a way to get across, though. Well, these rocks don't seem like they're very secure. Maybe we could use the Earth Scroll to loosen them up a little bit. Alright, now we have a way across. And that's the last time that's ever going to come up. Alright, now where are we now? Well, I don't hear any machinery running, so we're not back where we started. So this part must have been abandoned too. Yep, nothing's working right now. Well, let's head on down and see what's going on the floor level. Oh, hey, a chest. And we got an odd bone, but with the power of our goggles, it's actually a baton. The twirly, throw up in the air kind. You know, the kind you would see at a parade or something. I wonder what that's doing down here. Well, anyways, let's see what's going on over this way. Ah, sweet! A rail cart!
Won't move. Must be a switch or something that starts this thing.
Unfortunately, the power is not on right now, so I guess we're gonna have to come back to this later. We'll have to figure out how to turn the power on. Need to be really careful when you're jumping on these platforms here, because sometimes it'll let you land, and sometimes you'll just get caught on the lip and then you'll fall through. Uh-oh, getting some wind resistance. Come on! Well, if that's how you want to play it, luckily the Wind Scroll has a third ability that lets us pass through strong winds. Like so. Dangumit. Gosh darn, enemy has to be right there for me to bump into. Luckily, I came prepared with an antidote. Looks like we're gonna need the hop ability from that plant to get up there. And we're gonna have to do it again, but with a twist. Now there's a gap in between us and the plant. So all we have to do is just throw fusion first, then cross the gap, and then assimilate. It's easy peasy, baby. Another Minku. Come here, you. And with that, we have officially caught every Minku in the game. And our health is now at max. So yay us. Alright, this looks like something we can climb. Oh, hey, a switch. Now, this might look like a switch for just the fan, but actually, it's a switch for everything else in this area, including the rail cart. So let's flip that sucker. And we finally encountered some other ants in this dungeon that's about ants. So these red ants here we can't actually damage with our regular attacks. Instead, we're going to have to use an ability that we can get just up ahead. And there they are. It's the blue ant that spits acid bubbles out of its butt. And it's also the only enemy we can damage with our regular attacks. Also, there's only 2 of them in this entire dungeon now that I think about it. So before we absorb this one right here, let's go ahead and get the ability from the red ant down here, just to show it off. And the ability that we get from the red ant is Depress. And all it really does is put us in our fatigue state, and we glow blue a little bit, which is not useful at all. So let's go ahead and get the ability from this blue ant. And the ability that we got was Acid, and by hitting the circle button we'll throw little orbs of acid at enemies, which is useful against the red ones because they pretty much melt away their, I don't know, exoskeleton or something. Anyways, here it is in action. It pretty much kills them on contact. Oh, hey, a bench filled. Unfortunately, there's not much else to comment on because this dungeon is super boring. It really has nothing going for it. Like, the entire point of this dungeon is just to go from point A to point B and then loop back around to point A. And there's really not that much else to talk about because the only unique enemies in this entire dungeon are right here, and it's just ants of 2 different varieties. And there is the last Bencho field in the entire game. And now let's just check the rescue list to see that we rescued everybody. And, yep, everybody's name is highlighted, which means that that concludes that side quest. We are tying up a lot of loose ends in this update. And now we're back here And as you can see, all the equipment is running again. So, let's go check out that rail car and see if it's powered up now. And it looks like it is. Let's see what we can do with it.
Must be something over there. Seems fun. Let's give it a ride.
Alright, so to control the cart, all you have to do is use the directional pad or the analog stick to move left or right. You have a choice between one of 5 positions or lanes to move around in. You have your center, you have your soft left, you have your soft right, you have your hard left, and you have your hard right. And really all you have to do is just keep dodging obstacles and survive to the end. Now this might seem hard at first because it's really long. Luckily the game compensates by having checkpoints during this section, so anytime you see little flags at the top of the screen, it means you hit a checkpoint, and every time you die you'll just start off there. So it's not really that hard, it just takes a while.
That's not the end of me.
Well, here we are, end of the line. And it looks like we're about to enter the boss room because there's a whole lot of health and BP pickups around here. Also, a memory box.
Leave my memories here.
Well, let's go see that boss.
Whoa, the ground's kinda squishy. What the heck's this? Kinda disgusting. I'll do it a favor and slice it to shreds.
Alright, stopping the tape real fast to say that this boss fight is very pattern-based. However, there's a bunch of little small things that make this fight kind of complicated. So, getting that out of the way now before we start. Anyways, let's start the reel back up. So at the start of the fight, the Queen Ant's going to try to swipe at you with her claw thing, and then she's going to bend down allowing you to attack her, and then after receiving damage, she'll shoot up some larvae onto the field, and you can either get rid of them or they'll go away on their own. For her next attack, she'll rain down some green goop, and immediately after that, certain sections of her body will wiggle a little bit and then shoot up some spikes. All you have to do is just keep alternating between different sections of her body, and you should be fine. And then after that, she will try to swipe at you once more, and then she'll start a new cycle with a couple of new attacks. And her first new attack is where 3 sections of her body will pulsate a little bit, and then it'll do a really big pulse, launching anything in the center up. And if you get launched up, you will land directly onto some spikes. And her second new move is the most deadly one of them all, and it's where she'll try to grab you with her second pair of arms, or whatever. And if you get caught by that, she'll pull you in towards her spike abdomen. She'll also vomit some poison onto you, and you'll lose like 50 points of health each tick. So, yeah, you don't want to get caught by that. And instead of just trying to jump out of the way as she tries to grab you, instead, I would recommend that you stand right here in this exact spot, because she won't be able to grab you at all if you just stand right here. And that is how you handle that move. And once you do enough damage, her core will be exposed at her tail, and you can tell because she doesn't shoot up any larvae onto the field. And from here, all you have to do is activate the wind scroll and spin your way towards the tail, and you'll do some damage. And after breaking off a piece of her life bar, she'll immediately try to blow you off her body, and all you have to do is just keep the wind scroll up. However, you don't want to just stand there spinning in place, because if you do that, you'll sort of irritate the surface of her skin to the point that it breaks, and it makes a sort of pulsating wound, and if you touch that area, you get hurt. So you don't want to do that. So I recommend you move around a little bit when she's trying to blow you off her body. So the Queen Ant fight is pretty long, mostly because it takes a couple of cycles to get her to expose her core, and it's a lot worse if you're not at a high level at this point. Because if you come here sub level 20, it'll probably take like 5 or 6 cycles to get her to expose her core, and that is pretty bad. So I recommend that you come here pretty prepared, as in you should probably be a high level to be able to get through this pretty quickly. Also, the closer that you get to defeating her, her attacks will actually speed up and become a lot faster. So watch out for that. And with that, all that's left to do is to use the wind scroll on this wind crest and get on out of here. So that about does it for this video and this chapter. Tune in next time when we enter the endgame. I'll see you then.